There we go. All right, so you should be able to actually hear me right now. Like I said, a little bit of technical difficulties that as we have changed some things around here. But like I said, the topic of today's show is recovering from failure, regaining lost ground, and advancing. Recovering from failure, regaining lost ground, and advancing. Boy, I'm telling you, let guys know if you can actually hear me since I changed up the audio setup, so you should be able to actually hear me. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate it. And such an important topic because there's so much that's going on today in the culture and around the world. And I have friends of mine and associates who find themselves in a secular state of consistent failure and failing and can't seem to find their way out of those situations. They're struggling, and I get it. I totally get it. I've been there. I have done that, and I have failed many, many times. But I've also succeeded many times. I often say this: I've failed at everything that I have done, but I've also succeeded at everything I've done. Why? Because I've learned from those failures. I've learned from those shortcomings, and they have helped me to grow and to develop into who I am today, and given me the ability to help people like you with the lessons that I have learned over time. So I'm excited, guys. I'm really, really excited about today's topic. We're going to really do an autopsy. We're not going to take 2, 3, 4 hours. We're not going to do that, but we're going to do an autopsy on why people fail. We're going to look at how you recover from failure and how you advance. So let's do a deeper dig into why we fail. Because maybe you're one of those who has failed and you find yourself in a position where maybe someone has slapped a scarlet letter of failure on you, a scarlet letter of failure. They're not willing to give you an opportunity or a chance to succeed or to overcome the challenges that you may be facing. Maybe you're someone who's beating yourself up. Find yourself in a position where you continue to beat yourself up over something that happened in the past, a mistake, a shortcoming. Maybe it's your business that has failed or is failing, and you're trying to figure out a way to turn things around. Your family, uh, maybe you're someone who has gone through a divorce and you're struggling with that. You're trying to figure out how do I recover from that. Your finances, being a parent. Maybe as a parent, you're looking and you're thinking to yourself, boy, I've invested so much into this kid or these children, and it just does not seem like it's working out. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what other steps I need to take. I'm struggling here and I need some help. I need some guidance. Well, we're going to dig and we're going to do an autopsy because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you some hard truths here on today's show, some hard truths. And through those hard truths, we're going to find some resolution. So, number one, I want you to understand that failure or failing is inevitable. Everyone fails at something. Everyone fails at a business, as I said, relationships, you name it. We all fail at something in life, but failure is not inevitable. I mean, it's not, excuse me, failure is not permanent, nor is it fatal. I want to say that again. Failing at things in life is inevitable. Everyone fails at something. But in your failure or through your failure, it does not have to be permanent. It does not have to be fatal. Your failure or failings do not have to be the end of your story. There is so much more that awaits you. So let's do an autopsy here as to why people fail, ways that people fail, and some things that we need to avoid. So I'm going to give you some pointers here, some 5 quick points that you need to look at. Number one, the number one reason why people fail is because or due to a lack of specificity. So if you have your pen and papers available, I want you to write these things down. Number one is a lack of specificity. They're all over the place. They cannot clearly articulate their goals. Their goals are more like a wish list of things that they are hoping to see happen, but they really don't have any plans. It's just a bunch of prayers, it's just a bunch of hope. And I believe in praying. I believe in God. At the same time, you need to have some plans in place. You need to start getting specific about what it is that you want. Get specific about what your goals are. And so many people are just when you ask them what it is that they want to do or how they want to succeed or what type of business they want to begin or where they see their ministry going, they cannot clearly articulate any point whatsoever. No points at all. I can't tell you the number of people that I've sat down with over the years, and we've had these discussions. And I'll ask them, I say, what is the purpose of your business? Or if I'm helping someone to write a book, as I've helped people over the years write books, and I'll say, what is the purpose of your book? What is the point of your book? And they cannot clearly articulate those points. We're just kind of like just blowing in the wind and hoping something sticks somewhere along the line. Well, that's not going to work. You're wasting precious, valuable time because none of us is going to live forever. None of us, tomorrow's not promised for any of us. And so we need to get specific about what it is that we want to do. If I'm looking for a vehicle, I'm going to be specific about what type of vehicle I'm going to want to purchase. If I'm looking to go to school, which I've currently re-enrolled in school, I'm going to get specific about what I'm going for a degree in. I'm not just going just again, I'm going to just kind of figure things out as I go along. I'm a little bit too old for that. I was very specific about what it is that I'm going to school for, what the degree is in, when I'm going to graduate, how many classes I'm going to take at a time, what courses I'm going to be taking during that time. I mean, you got to be that specific. Okay. The number two reason why in this autopsy as to why people fail is they have a lack of faith. They have a lack of faith. They do not actually believe that they can have or that they deserve what it is that they're asking for. They don't actually believe it. Well, I'm going to start a business someday and I'm hoping that it succeeds. I'm hoping that it's going to go somewhere. They don't really believe it. And I'm just going to give the thing a try and let's see what happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And they're not willing to invest or wholeheartedly invest because they don't have the faith for it. Yes, they want to succeed. Yes, they want to be successful, but sometimes they don't even believe that they're worthy or they're valuable enough to succeed. They don't believe that they are valuable enough to receive what it is that they say that they want. And so I want a successful business, but because I don't have the faith, I never see it really come into fruition. I want to have faithful. I want to have relationships that succeed, but I don't really have the faith. I don't really believe that I deserve this, and so I'm not willing to invest the time, the energy. See, here's the thing about faith. Scripture says, "Faith without works is dead." Faith without works is dead. What does that mean? That means that when I truly have the faith for something, if I truly believe that it's mine and that it belongs to me, my actions are going to indicate that that's what I want, right? And so if I want to be successful at something, my actions are going to follow what it is that I say that I want. I want to succeed in business. My actions are going to indicate that. I'm going to take classes. I'm going to maybe go to school for that. I'm going to find a mentor, someone to help guide me through the process. I say that I want to be successful in ministry. I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to study my Bible. I'm going to have someone or someone's in my life that is going to train me on scriptures so that I can grow and I can develop in those scriptures and I can effectively communicate the the word of God to whomever it is that I'm speaking to. I want to be successful as a parent. Well, my faith is that I'm going to be successful as a parent, then I'm going to do what? I'm going to find someone who's going to help me to grow and to learn as a parent. I know when I became a dad, I knew that I didn't know everything. My dad was not in my life, so I really didn't know what it meant to be a dad. I didn't know what it meant to be a father. I didn't have the slightest clue. And so I found people, or I brought people into my life and surrounded myself with people who could help guide me through the process of parenting. I didn't look at parenting as kind of like trial error. We're going to try this out and we're going to see what's going to work. I talked to people, I asked people, I humbled myself, and I said, I don't know what to do here. When it came time to potty train my son, of course, obviously this is years later. My son has since graduated high school. I know that's hard for people to believe because I know I look like I'm 14 years old myself. But when my son graduated high school, has actually, excuse me, has graduated high school recently, but when he was younger, and I wanted to potty train him. I was like, I'm not doing the man thing anymore. I mean, now he's doing it. He's letting go like a man. I need to get this together. Well, I asked people the process to get him properly potty trained, and you know what? He was potty trained. I was able to get him potty trained in less than a week. In less than a week, when he went to go see his mom, she saw him in underwear and she's like, wait a minute, he's wearing underwear now? I said, yes, he is. He knows how to get in the toilet. You may have to help him out until he gets used to cleaning himself, but he's going to get on that toilet. And so I went and I asked questions. I wasn't so proud and haughty that I thought I knew it all. I had all the answers. I had all the solutions. I didn't know what I was doing. I needed people to help me. So I believed that I could do it. I believed that I could be a good father. I believed I could be good in business. I believed I could be good in ministry or whatever it is. And because I believed I could, I took steps to make sure that my actions backed up what it was that I claimed that I was believing. Number three, and we just touched on this a little bit with when we talked about faith, is there's a lack of activity. A lack of activity. Let me make this clear. Busyness is not the equivalent of positive activity. I want you to think about that. Busyness is not the equivalent of positive activity. You can get busy doing a whole lot of stuff, but it doesn't produce anything. You can get busy just being busy. It's a distraction. I just don't like sitting around. I don't like waiting. I don't like doing this. I don't like doing that. I want to find something to do. You hear that a lot. Just find something to do. Find some. But is the something that you're doing productive? Is it yielding gains? Because if it's not yielding gains, then you're just wasting your time. Is this contributing to pushing you forward to help you to achieve the goal that you set, the goal that you claim that you've written down that you're believing for, that you just say that you have the faith for? Well, are you just busy just to be busy? I'm gonna find something to do. Okay, well, finding something to do does not necessarily mean that it's yielding to the results that you want. So you're being busy just to be busy. And the second point underneath that is sometimes there's just too much procrastination. We're just waiting around. We're just waiting for something to happen. So there's no activity whatsoever. I'm just going to sit here twiddling my thumbs. I'm going to wait for something to happen. Hopefully something happens. Don't know whether it's going to happen or not. Maybe it might. The check is going to come in the mailbox. Man is going to fall from heaven. The business deal is going to fall into my lap. People are just going to show up at my church. I'm just going to open the doors. I'm going to sit here, and people are just going to just show up in the door because I got a great message. Whatever it is, we're just procrastinating. We're not taking action, and we're not being precise with our action. We're just hoping that something's going to come along. We're hoping that something's going to happen, you know, or we're always finding an excuse not to act. I don't have enough time during my day. You know, when I got serious about physical fitness and being healthy and taking care of my body, you better believe I found the time. There was a time when I would go into the gym at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning because I knew I needed to be at my desk at 7 o'clock. So I got out of bed and I did what I needed to do to ensure that I got to work on time, but I also got my exercise and got my routine in. When my schedule changed and it was difficult for me to get in during the morning, I would go after work. I go to work all day, doing whatever I was doing, and I found time to do it after work. When my schedule became crazier and there were other things that were happening, I do it in the afternoon. I work, go exercise, clean myself up, get back to work. I always found a way to make it happen. There was never an excuse. Why? Because I believed and I was focused and I was diligent and I wanted to get healthy. I wanted to get strong. I wanted to build muscle. I wanted to get healthy. So I did what I had to do to make sure I took care of myself physically. And I did the same thing spiritually. I get up in the morning and I do the same thing spiritually. When it comes to my spirit man, I get up in the morning, I open my Bible, I read, or I open up the Bible on my phone. I read, I pray, I meditate on the Word. There is never a reason or never an excuse why you can't do it. If you truly want it, you're going to find a way to make it happen. You just are. That's something that, I've had people in my life correct me on this very same thing. There were times in my life when I claimed that I couldn't do something because I didn't have the time. I couldn't do it because I didn't have the money. I couldn't do it because I didn't have the resources. I couldn't do it because I didn't have the training. I couldn't do it because of whatever it was. And there were people who had to come to me and talk to me and correct me and help me get on track and say, no, you can't do it because you don't want to do it or because you don't really want to take the steps that are necessary to make it happen. You want it, but you don't want the sacrifice that comes along with it. You want it, but you don't want the commitment that comes along with it. You want it, but you don't want to make whatever the investment is that's necessary to have it. Because in order to have what you want to, here is the big lie that we hear so much in our culture. You can have it all. You can have it all. Oh yes, you can have it all, just not at the same time. You can't uh, you can't be a great parent or the best parent in the world if you're working 24 hours a day. And you can't have the greatest business in the world if you never show up and you're busy doing a whole bunch of other things. There are choices. Life is a series of choices. And if you're going to succeed at something, you're going to have to decide what it is that you want to give up in order to have it. Again, it's not just going to fall into your lap. It's not just going to happen. You're going to have to make some choices. And the last point for the autopsy component as to why people fail is there's a lack of commitment. There's a lack of commitment. I wrote down in my notes, follow through, follow through, follow through. I'm going to say that again. Follow through, follow through, follow through. There is a complete lack of commitment in our culture and in our society today. We just don't know what it is to really truly be committed. At the slightest, at the slightest appearance of trouble, at the slightest appearance that there could be pushback, resistance, we give up, we run, we duck, we dodge, we hide because we don't want to deal with anything. We believe that it's supposed to just fall into our laps on a golden parachute. I've had conversations, again, numerous people who have told me, I know that this is God's will for my life. You know how they'll say this. I know when it's God's will for my life because I don't really face any resistance and it comes pretty easy. Well, I don't know what Bible that you're reading. But my Bible says all who would live godly are going to suffer persecution. All of us are going to face trials. All of us are going to face resistance. That is a part of your journey to success. That is a part of what happens when you are overcoming or coming out of failure. You're going to have to be committed. You're going to have to be committed when you don't feel like it. You're going to have to be committed when you don't want to be. You're going to have to be committed when you're not feeling well. You're going to have to be committed when your mind is saying, I don't want to do this. You're going to have to be committed when everyone around you is telling you that you can't do it. I can't tell you the number of times that people have told me over the years that you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to produce. You're not going to be able to succeed. You're not going to be able to do whatever it is, and I had to remain committed to the task at hand in order for me to overcome. And so many people fail because they do not commit. They refuse to commit. They refuse to commit to the process. They refuse to commit to a mentor. They refuse to commit to whatever it is that's going to help them to achieve their goal. You're not going to get a degree going through college or going through a university unless you commit. You're not going to receive the reward. Well, maybe in today's culture, because today's culture, everybody gets an award. Everybody gets an award for anything, the slightest thing. People get awards for just showing up. And I celebrate you. I'm going to applaud you. I applaud you for showing up. But you got to take the next step. You got to make a commitment. You're going to have to make a commitment. So now that we've done our autopsy, ladies and gentlemen, as we've done our autopsy, let's look at some resolutions that we need to make in order to overcome failure, in order to come out of failure. Because as we said in the beginning, failure is inevitable, but it does not have to be fatal. Everyone's going to fail. Everyone's going to fall short at something. I have never met anyone in my life, not one person who has never failed. I've never met a singular individual who did not fall short. It's never happened. It's never happened. But there was something that they had, something that they did. There were steps that they took to overcome their failures. Steps they had to take. It wasn't easy, but they were committed. It wasn't easy, but they were diligent. So, how do we overcome our failings? Well, we got to get disciplined. I know that's a dirty word in culture. We kind, it's kind of like the live free and die hard culture. Do what you want, live any way you want to live. What's the big deal? I'm here to tell you the truth. You're going to have to get disciplined. You're going to have to get disciplined. It's not just going to happen. If you do not get disciplined, you're going to find that you're going to be repeating the same habits, the same behaviors that got you where you are. If you do not get disciplined, you're going to discover 10 years from now, you're going to be in the same place. I know of many individuals who have these great, big, huge dreams and these huge goals and these ambitions and these desires, and they're sitting in the same place today that they were 10 years ago. The same exact place. They're wanting their business to succeed. They're wanting whatever it is. They're wanting, you name it, fill in the blank, whatever you want to fill it in with. They've been wanting whatever it is for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and it hasn't happened because they refuse to get disciplined. They blame God, they blame the culture, they blame white folks, they blame black folks, they blame Hispanics, they blame the government, They blame their children. They blame their friends. They blame everybody. But the one person that they will not blame and they will not say needs to change is themselves. They blame everybody else for why they can't get where they want to get. They blame everyone else why they can't have what they say they want to have. Well, take a look in the mirror and start there. So, what do we need to do? Number one, you need to figure out who you are. You need to figure out who you are and stop comparing yourself to everyone else. Figure out who you are. We're always looking at other people, what other people have, what other people did, and how they did it, and everything else. I mean, it's good to use that as a comparison, or as a motivation, or as an inspiration. But man, you need to have your own dreams and your own goals and your own ambitions. And just because it worked for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You're a different individual. There may be some patterns or some disciplines that are there, but you're the one that's going to have to apply the steps that are necessary to get to where you want to go. You got to know who you are. Stop trying to be like Pastor so and so, trying to be like this business person over there, trying to be like that business person over there, trying to be like that one over there. Be who you are. God made you to be who you are for a reason. He's given you gifts and talents and abilities for a reason. Locked inside of that is the ability for you to overcome failure and succeed. Locked inside of that. Maybe you're gifted with music. Maybe you're gifted with arts. Maybe you're gifted with mathematics or other academics. Maybe you're gifted with whatever it is. Inside of that, locked inside of what God has placed in you, is the key to your success, is the key to you overcoming your failures. So rather than continuing to look at what everybody else is doing and comparing yourself to what everyone else is doing and comparing what you have to what everyone else has, because that's a big one there too, because you see someone else has it, you think that you should have it. Someone else lives in a multi-million dollar home. You believe that you should have a multi-million dollar home. Why do you want it? I mean, those are questions that you should be asking yourself. So stop comparing yourself to everyone else. The next thing you need to do is you need to understand that whatever your thing is not for everyone. You got to understand, you got to know who your demographics are. I've done sessions where I've talked to people about writing books or other projects that they wanted to do and develop. And one thing I constantly hear, particularly with people who write books, is when I ask them, like, who's your book for? I hear this a lot. My book is for everyone. Really? Oh yeah, my book's for everyone. So your book is for preschooler. Oh no, 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 no. It's not for the okay. But my book is for everyone else. No, your book, your project, your business, whatever it is not for everyone. Get prepared because people are going to reject it. Not necessarily because they don't like you, but maybe your product or whatever it is that you are selling is not for them. That's fine. It's for somebody. You just need to be able to identify who the somebody is that you're selling your product to, or that you're providing a service to, or a resource to. You got to know who you are in order to be comfortable with that. Because when you don't know who you are, that's when you get those types of answers. It's for everyone. No, it's not for everyone. I know that my books are not for everyone. I have like this book here is right so far as to up to date, number one bestseller, but it's not for everyone. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. The people who want to purchase it, they will purchase it. I don't force it down anybody's throat. I'm not out there pushing it hard all over the internet. You don't see me running all over the place and just push, push. I know it's not for everyone. A lot of my products get sold word of mouth because the people who read them or the people who hear me, who enjoy me, they're going to push me. Word of mouth, I know, is my greatest advertisement. So you got to know who you are. My next point is you need to develop a smart strategy. And I say this over and over again. For those of you who don't know what a smart strategy is, SMART is an acronym for your strategy needs to be specific, as we talked about earlier. A lot of people are not specific. It needs to be measured. There needs to be some metrics in there to demonstrate that you're making progress. Okay, specific, measured. It needs to be attainable, right? That's the A, attainable. It should not be somewhere so beyond your abilities that it's not going to happen. Like, I'm going to be an astronaut, but I'm never going to go to school. I'm not going to study. I'm terrible at math. I'm afraid of flying or being in the air, but I'm going to be an astronaut. Like, let's get real here, folks. Or I'm going to be I'm going to be a millionaire, but I have no business acumen whatsoever. I don't really go to work. I'm not looking for a job where I can make any type of significant cash flow. I enjoy sitting on my couch and twiddling my thumbs all day. I have no drive, no momentum, no personal motivation whatsoever, but I'm going to be a millionaire. That's not attainable. Your goal needs to be attainable. Okay? And so you need to develop smart goals. Smart goals. Again, if you pick up my book, You Were Born to Win, so Suck It Up, Buttercup, as well as When It Really Counts, Leading When No One is Watching. Those books there, excellent books. And I'm not just saying that because they're my books. I'm saying that because if you go in there, I show you how to develop plans, how to develop smart goals, I'm going to show you how to go step by step in overcoming those areas of weakness so that you can overcome. Because as I said, I have failed many times in my life, many times. But I've also been able to overcome and succeed because I recognize those failings and I implement the steps that I need to implement to overcome them. The third step is, or the next step is, you need to surround yourself with the right people. You have to surround yourself with the right people. Again, you'll find it in my books as well. I'm not going to hold it up again. But there are people that you need to have around you in order for you to succeed. You don't know all the answers. I don't know all the answers. Your mom doesn't know the answers. Your best friend doesn't know all the answers. Even your mentor does not know all the answers. All the answers. You need to have people who are around you who can fill in the gaps. So I don't know everything there is about technology. I have people that I go to and I talk to them about technology. I'll be doing that after today's show. Like, hey, I had some technical difficulties with this. How do I resolve this specific situation? And they'll help me to do that. I don't know everything there is about graphics, graphic art. There are people I go to about graphic art. I don't know everything there is about photography. I just had a photo session with my son. I go to a photographer. If I'm lacking in that area, I don't have to become an expert at it. I just need to find someone that's great at it who can help me along the way, who can help me along the road. The mark of a great leader is not someone that is good at everything or great at everything. The mark of a great leader is someone who surrounds themselves with people who have the answers, who are people who are great in their own right, and they fill in the gaps, right? I'm not the greatest mathematician, but I'm going to hire an accountant. That's particularly if I'm handling millions of dollars worth of finances. I need to hire an accountant, somebody that is an expert in that particular field. I'm not going to try to do the accounting, do the promotional work, do the selling, do the training. Like, if you're doing everything in your business is not going to go anywhere. You're going to get to a certain point where your expertise is going to run out, it's going to run dry, and you're going to be stuck, and you're not going to go anywhere. Doesn't matter what it is. I go back to when I was starting off with physical fitness. I trained as hard as I could for as long as I could. But I got to a point where I realized I can't go any further on my own. So what did I do? I found people who are stronger than me. I found people who are bigger than me. And they helped me to get to where I wanted to get to fitness wise. When it came down to business, I don't know everything about business. So I brought in other people who are business experts, people who know about graphics, people who know about selling, people who know about marketing. Didn't know everything about it, so I brought people around me to help me with that. Ministry. I don't know anything about ministry. I don't know everything about the Bible. But you better believe that I ask people questions who are knowledgeable in the Bible. I just don't get up and run my mouth and pretend that I know everything about the Bible. I go to people. I have pastors who are friends of mine. I have other ministers who are friends of mine. I know professors. I know individuals who are that's their area of expertise. I go to them. We talk. We have conversations. They help me to grow. Whatever it is that you want to do, you need to surround yourself with people who are good in various fields because you cannot be great at everything. You're not going to even be good at everything. You may be okay at doing a whole lot of things, but you're not going to be the best at everything. And so you need to surround yourself with the right people. Again, if you get my book, You Were Born to Win, So Suck It Up, Buttercup, you'll actually find in there a list of people that you need to have around you. It is a good list, and I think you'll find that it's going to help you out. The next point is you need to decide if your why is bigger than your why not. Decide if your why is bigger than your why not. Let me tell you something, man. If your why not, if the excuse is bigger than your why, it will not happen. It won't. When again, going back to being a dad, when I looked at that young man when he was born, that became my why for a whole lot of stuff. A lot of the shenanigans that were taking place in my life stopped. A lot of the time I spent just hanging out and partying and all that stuff stopped. Why? Because the why was bigger than the why not. It was important for me to be a good father. It was important for me to provide. It is important for me to be there for him. That was my why. When my finances were absolutely abysmal, and my finances have been up and down over the years. Sometimes there have been times when they have been absolutely phenomenal. I'm bringing in money left and right, hand over fist, and I'm like, boy, it doesn't get any better than this. Man, this is insane. I'm doing great. And there's other times when it hasn't been that way, when I've been like, oh man, like things are like really tight. So it can go in ebbs and flows. Those of you who are business people, you know that that's how it is. And so I've had those situations in my life. And I remember being at a point where uh, finances were very, very difficult. This is years ago. And I remember they were really difficult. I had to make some very tough choices because my why was more important. You know, I needed to get a job. Yeah, business people. I had to get a job. Did that mean that I gave up on my business? No. Did that mean I gave up on my business? That meant that I had to work harder to make sure that I continued to keep things going so that my business didn't just die off. But at the same time, I had to get a job because I needed to make sure that I had money coming in. Like if your business is going through a downtime, a downspout, and you're not bringing it in, you can't just sit there and just keep hoping that it's going to come together and keep spend money that you don't have and put yourself in further debt for something that's not happening in the moment. You had to make a decision. Well, I got to get money from somewhere, got to get a job, and there were times when I refused to do that. And, my family ended up suffering because I refused to take the steps that were necessary because, no, this business is going to happen. It's going to succeed. No, we got to learn to humble ourselves. And I would have people who come around me who would say, no, man, you got to get this together. Like, what's most important is your family. What's most important is having food on the table. That's more important. Like, at the end of the day, God is going to honor you, not because you have $1 million in your bank account. He's going to honor you for being a great parent. He's going to honor you for being the type of person who treats people with respect and dignity. Whether you have $1 million in your account or not, that's what he's going to look at. At the end of the day, that's what's most important. So there have been times when I've had to make some tough choices, and it's like, okay, if it's not coming in over here, I need to do it over there. That does not mean again that your dream is coming to an end and that it's over. It means you're taking care of your family. And that's the most important thing. And God will honor you. And I'm going to tell you what, whenever those situations happened and I found myself there, when I took the action that I needed to take, God honored me and other doors opened. Doors that were bigger than the doors that had closed prior. I'm going to say that again. Doors opened that were much bigger and much more productive than the doors I closed prior when I made the decision that I was going to be a good father, that I was going to take care of my family, that I was going to do. So my why has always been bigger. I won't say it's always been, but as an adult and becoming a father, yeah, my why became bigger. There have been many things that I've turned down over the years. When my son was small, I had opportunities to travel, to speak all over the United States. I had offers to speak in other countries. I had a lot of offers, but I was a single dad, and it was more important for me to be a dad and to be there raising my child, and God provided. We didn't go hungry. We had a roof over our head, clothes on our back. May not have always had what we wanted to eat at the time. May not have always lived where we wanted to live at the time. But that was okay because it was more important to me. See, my why was bigger, and you've got to decide, is your why going to be bigger than your why not? Because if your why not is bigger, then you know what? Maybe you won't choose to be a good parent, or maybe you won't choose for your business to succeed, or maybe you won't choose to do what's necessary to bring in the money to make sure your family's taken care of, or maybe you won't choose whatever it is. Because if your why not is bigger, you're always going to find a reason why you can't do it. But if you really want to overcome and come out of your failure and your failings, your why has got to be bigger. I want to be a good dad. I want to be a good mom. I want to provide for my household. I want to give to my community. I want to give to my church. I want my church to succeed so it can do this for the community. I want my business to succeed because I believe that my business is going to help out a lot of people, not just because I'm going to make a ton of money, but I want to help out my community. Your why has got to be bigger. We talk about that in the business world. They always ask you, well, what is your why? Because when you know what your why is, nothing can stop you. It's not going to slow you down. You're going to find a way. The next point is you've got to give yourself permission to fail. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. You've got to give yourself permission to fail. As I said, failure is inevitable, but it does not have to be permanent. It does not have to be fatal. But if you don't give yourself permission to fail, you may find yourself wallowing in your failures, or you may collapse when you fail. You got to learn how to bend. You got to learn how to flow when things come along, when things happen that you don't have control of. You got to learn how to flow with the current. If the current is moving fast, you got to know how to flow with that. When it slows down, you got to know how to flow with that. You got to learn from your mistakes and not wallow in them. So if you're not flexible, if you're not flowing, If you don't give yourself permission to fail, every time something happens that is unforeseen or that is outside of your control, which is consistent and constant, particularly in business, is consistent and constant as a parent, is consistent and constant as in life, period. When you don't give yourself permission to fail, when failure happens, which it will, like I said, because it is inevitable, you're going to collapse and you're going to find yourself in a place where you're just going to wallow in it, and it's going to actually take you longer to come out of those situations because you're going to be resting in failure. You don't want that to happen because that hole gets deeper and deeper. Let me tell you, it gets deeper and deeper, and before you know it, you're not going to be able to get yourself out of it. So I encourage you to give yourself permission to fail. That means you got to be willing to take risks. And you know, if I take a risk, there's a potential here that there's a potential I could fail, but that's okay. I'm going to learn from it, get up, and do it all over again. And my final point is you got to ask yourself, where is my faith? Where's your faith? Where's your faith? Do you really believe that what it is that you say you want is for you? Do you really believe it? Or are you just looking at what everyone else has and what everyone else is doing and what you think you're supposed to have, or maybe I might have it, or maybe I'm not gonna have it. If it's God's will, that's another excuse we use. Well, it must not be God's will for me to have this. No, you gotta decide, do I really believe that this is supposed to be mine? Do I really believe I'm supposed to have this? Because if I really believe that, then like all these steps that I'm talking about here, my actions are going to indicate that I believe it. If I really believe that I'm supposed to have a house and I don't live in a home right now, what steps am I taking to have this home other than praying about it? Okay? Because I believe in the power of prayer. I'm gonna tell you what, I'm a walking miracle. I'm gonna tell you right now, I am a walking miracle. Signs, wonders, all sorts of things that happen for me in my health and well-being, with my finances, you name it. I'm a walking miracle. Okay, so I believe in the power of prayer. I also believe that with prayer comes activity. So we got to pray and pursue. I want you to say that. Pray and pursue, not pray and in hope. Pray and pursue. If I believe that this is supposed to happen, if I believe that it belongs to me, then I need to pursue it. I need to pray about it, ask God for direction, and I need to pursue it. I need to go after it. It's not either or, guys. And so I'm hoping and I'm praying that the steps that I've outlined here will help you guys, those of you who have failed at something, or you find yourself in a position where things are not going well for you. Maybe you're struggling in your business, you're struggling in your relationships, you're struggling in whatever area it is. And you found that, I've tried this over and over again, and man, I just keep falling short, man. I just keep failing, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I hope that these steps and these strategies will help you. Obviously, we don't have time to get real super in depth with it, and that's okay. You're more than welcome to contact me through this website, wherever you're watching, wherever you're watching this show through, whether it's or you're listening to it on a podcast. You're more than welcome to tune in and to listen whenever I do the shows. But I welcome you guys to reach out and contact me. I'll be more than willing to help you through the process, or speak to you, or drop you a couple of nuggets, or to speak to your group or your organization. Because, like I said, I am myself a walking miracle, and I have failed and I have succeeded. I have bombed and I have soared high. And I can tell you and share with you the steps that you need to do when you are soaring high, how to stay there, and when you're down, how to come up out of that pit. Failure is inevitable, but your failures do not have to be fatal. I'm author, leadership, and team development speaker Joe Woodley. Thank you for tuning into another Key Moments for Faith. I am looking forward to speaking with you and sharing with you again here very, very soon. Don't forget to subscribe and I will talk to you here soon. God bless each and one of you.